Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing this textured abstract landscape on a 16 by 20 canvas with Vivid Intense Fluid Acrylics, Primer Element Art Pigments, and some PrizmPours. Here is the list of colors that we're going to use in this project. I hope you enjoy. I begin by applying hard molding paste by Golden. I used a window scraper to smooth out and remove the lines in the hard molding paste. Then I began applying the stucco paste. Then I began applying the DAP plaster paste. Next, I began adding some golden crackle paste, and I blended it into the other textures on my surface. Finally, I applied some additional texture by mixing some stone paste and the plaster paste to get it to sit up a little bit higher. Make sure you let all this texture dry for 2 to 3 days before you begin applying your color. I moistened my sky area with a little bit of water, but it seemed to bead up on that hard paste, so I blotted off any excess. I just wanted to get my paint a chance to flow. Next, I dabbed a small amount of Amsterdam titanium white on my brush and mixed it with a small amount of water. Next, spread the white over the top area, moving the paint right to left and then top to bottom to smooth out the paint. Mix a tiny dab of the Vivid Intense Indigo with some of your titanium white and spread out a highlight area on the top part of your canvas. Work the color into the white, painting it in both directions, left to right and top to bottom. Next, paint the balance of your entire piece with that white washed down with water. I didn't allow this layer to dry. I wish I had. It's really best if you let this dry for about an hour or two before you add more color. Next, I took some Azo Gold and red violet oxide and spritzed it into the wet white paint. It looked a little bit muted, but I went with it. Next, I blended the color over the entire textured area. Next, I took a heat gun and dried the entire piece before I wanted to proceed any further with color. Next, I added some more of the Azo Gold. Now I'm back on the top area where I had painted it white, and I'm moistening it with a little bit of water. Voiceover 12. I begin brushing on the Vivid Intense Indigo. Where I felt I needed to dry the color to get it to set down, I did some spot drying with the blow dryer. Using a smaller brush, I begin applying the indigo up next to the lower texture, filling in that area, spritzing lightly is needed to get the color flowing in. I begin spritzing the crackle paste with water and then brushing the indigo into the texture. Continue to spritz, brush, and blot, pushing the indigo into the cracks on top of that crackle paste. Mix Vivid Intense Titanium White with just a dab of indigo. Mist with water as needed to encourage the color to flow smoothly. Begin brushing over the lighter section to open up just a mist of light in your dark indigo. Add indigo as needed to blend that center color. Continue to spritz, blush, and blot the nickel Azo Gold and Quinacridone Magenta into the second section of crackle paste. Wet your brush with water and begin brushing primary elements Ceylon Cinnamon, Autumn Leaf, Teal Zircon, and a little bit of the PrizmPour Ginger Snap over the Indigo Blue Crackle Paste area. Brush on some Ceylon Cinnamon and Autumn Leaf over the coarse textured areas. Next, I begin brushing on some Teal Zircon, Ceylon Cinnamon, and Autumn Leaf primer elements in the warmer crackle paste area. I begin adding a little bit of the Indigo Vivid Intense over some of the warm crackle area, misted with water. Then I spritzed the area with water and brushed on a little bit of the Vivid Intense Titanium White. Here I'm adding some more primary elements over the crackle area. Next, I brushed a little bit of the Indigo Vivid Intense on the other crackle paste area. Next, I begin brushing more of the primary element pigments Ceylon Cinnamon, Autumn Leaf, Teal Zircon in all the areas, touching up the entire piece, adding more depth and dimension. I began applying the Phthalo Teal, Vivid Intense, and the Cobalt Aqua over the heavily textured areas. I begin adding the deep indigo, phthalo teal, and some blue grotto in that middle section white area that was unpainted. touching up all the areas with pigments and Vivid Intense in any places where I felt I had missed some color.
Some of this on. Typically I use a sponge when I'm varnishing, but this stuff is actually made for art. It dries like resin and it doesn't pick up the color. It's not cheap, but when you consider the cost of resin, it's still very reasonable. So I'm going to start with the sky. My concern is the areas where I've got the loose primary elements. Is it going to lift? Or do I have to actually resin those areas? But I know I can at least, I guess we'll call this sky, this area in the top. We know we can do. I mean, you guys email me about varnishing. I'm usually all about a sponge on a wooden dowel because you get no brush stroke marks. But someone had turned me on to this bright tone, and I cannot believe how beautiful it dries. It looks like glass when it dries, almost like you resined it. So it's kind of my new addiction now. I know the center part is fluid acrylics, mostly. I'm going to see right here if the primer elements lift or not. No, I think there's enough of the fluid acrylic to lift to keep them down. But I'd rather almost pour it on like I'm doing a resin on this, right? I'm barely letting the brush glide. Almost filling it in, like I said, as if you were resining the piece. Like pouring resin on and letting it level out. You guys didn't get a chance to see me to do the texture poppies this way, but I was blown away. I couldn't help. I got a little lift on that one, a tiny bit of lift. Lift is when a bit of color comes off on my towel. So this section I'm going to have to be really careful because there's a lot of loose primer elements on here. I wish there was some way I could get this zoomed in. So I'm working on this section. Oops, shoot. Don't make it unlevel this. Crap. I can't move all my paper, all my stuff moves. Here we go. I just want you to see the one section here. This is loose primary elements. It's been brushed on top of the intense, but I don't know if there's enough binder in there to adhere them, so this won't lift it off. So like I said, I'm pouring it on more like as if I was resining it and just letting the brush glide over. Oh my God, that sparkles like diamonds. Oh, I wish you could see how much this little section here sparkles while I'm doing this. Oh, the sparkle's coming back. No, it's not going to let me show you that one section. I mean, I'm limited on what space I can show you. I'll do it here again. Let me just get... Let me get this section covered. Now I know this is PrizmPour here, so I probably don't even have to worry about the brush. I mean, it's an acrylic paint. I use that ginger snap in the really yellow orangey areas. Like in here, this is where that ginger snap is. This is ginger snap. And so I'm not going to get any lift off the brush there. But here, there's a lot of primary elements, so I got to be careful. Same thing there, a lot of primary elements. Wow, I'm shocked. Hardly any lift at all coming off. And I just took water and primary elements and brushed them right on the top of the intense fluid acrylics. Let's see if I can scooch this over a little bit for this side. Wow, that stuff's pretty. Yes, my product's pretty, but that bright tone is stunning. I can't believe... Of course I knew it would bring the color back to life. Varnish and resin always does. But got to get this corner. Now, wow, wow. Now this is the last place I painted, so it's going to be the last place I varnish. I want to let this set overnight so we can get the video edited. This has a lot of acrylics, so I'll be able to brush this on, even though there is some autumn leaf brushed on top. I don't know if you can see how that's waking that up. See how that's getting that reddish color? Wow. But I'm going to let it puddle. Just it'll level. Oh my God. Those colors are stunning, if I do say so myself. Sorry for laughing, but I'm deliriously excited. I had no idea they would do this. I mean, I had an idea, but it's the first time I've tried this technique, guys, so you're seeing it when I'm seeing it. Wow! I hope it dries like that. God, I hope it dries like that. Okay, let's flip this around. Get the other end here. This isn't a typical spinner. I have one of those glass turntables and a wood round on top. Let's see if we can get this out so you can see me do this whole section. And it's good for this crackle paste, this crackle area, because all this varnish is really going to help it lay down. It'll seal those, anything that's raised in the crackle paste. Yeah, I was worried about this transition. When I started, I had such a hard transition between these two lighter sections in here, but I kind of like how they've melded together. Okay, so one last spot. This is the last place I painted. It's got to be the last place I get my varnish on. I am truly excited like crazy. I can't believe how pretty this is. The colors, I'm not necessarily extolling that, oh, I'm a fine artist and look how great my piece turned out, but I'm extremely, extremely excited about these colors. There's a little white area. I'll kind of move that brown in there. Okay, so let's see if I can get a good shot for you guys. Now I can't pick it up because it's wet. But I can slide it back. Wow, look how bright those colors are, especially in here. These areas where that autumn leaf is just randomly put in there and melding in with all those other colors beneath it. And then down here where the autumn leaf really kind of opened up and again melded into here. I'm deliriously happy. I can't wait tomorrow morning to see how this dries. I'm going to leave this overnight. If I have to spot varnish anywhere, I will tomorrow. Here's a little spot where it's kind of run off. I'll be babysitting this thing for probably the next 15 minutes after I turn off the video, but I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed my process. It's very intuitive, so thank you for bearing with me explaining all the different colors and stuff that I put on the different sections, but I'm very, very happy with this piece. And remember everybody, life is art. Live yours in color.